It really looks like we have a big crowd. Thank you very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen. This indeed is a very special occasion, and it is absolutely my honor to be the MC. Usually, at this time of the day, I should be doing my radio show on RTHK Radio 3, or otherwise cross over to my television show as well. But nothing is more important than you guys. This is a very special occasion, and we are going to travel with music, and more importantly, with our soul. So, shall we have just 1 minute of silence before we have this wonderful program starts? Just 1 minute. It's good, isn't it? Now we appreciate silence is golden, isn't it? So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to say thanks to Consulate General of India, and also thank you so much for letting us to have this beautiful place for the very first time. So we would like to make sure that in the next 60 minutes, we have something very special for you. How can it not be special when it is magic, music, and meditation? Yes. With some of the best people, and you are going to hear a new message that has not been delivered before. You're going to hear some music which had not been played in Hong Kong before, and you might see some magic that might not work. I don't know. But I can guarantee that this is going to be a wonderful time. So let's start this event with a bit of music. Since actually what we are doing here, we are actually commemorating the 10th UN International Day of Non-Violence in memory of Mahatma Gandhi. So ladies and gentlemen, we would like to bring on Ayako Ichimaru, who is a rather renowned violin player who actually has been playing for many big names, as big as Pavarotti and Sarah Brightman. But for the very first time, she actually was extremely inspired while she was meditating and coming out with music. Now, it is quite ironic because she actually said that the music is to lead your soul to go back to where there is no sound. How can that happen? So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to bring you the music of Ayako by this track called Awakening, being played for the very first time in Hong Kong. So, please enjoy. Music written inspired by the experience of soul. We're going to tell you more about that journey later on, but now I think it would be perfect to start this journey with a candle lighting ceremony. So, ladies and gentlemen, may we have the honor to have the Consul General of India, of Hong Kong, to lead the pack. And also, we have, it is so wonderful to have Maureen Chan, our senior sister from Raja Yoga, who I will introduce later on. I think she deserves a very big round of applause. Without her, I think half of the house here won't be here today. And to introduce Raja Yoga of Hong Kong and also Kowloon as well, that makes up actually the whole Hong Kong. Yeah, we would like to have Rohini Band and also Hindu Band. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Lighting candle is so much fun. Just a couple of weeks ago when I was celebrating Diwali, it is so much fun to light candle. Chinese only blow candles. We never light it. Yeah. So I think it is great to actually lit the house, with real, real light and light. We talk about double light very often, don't we? And since this is a very special occasion and it's the very first time that we actually get to come here, so I think it would be wonderful if we can have a few words from our Consul General himself to give us an opening address.
Distinguished members of the Raja Yoga Center in Hong Kong and Ms. Warren Chan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming here, and it is a pleasure to be associated with the Raja Yoga Center in Hong Kong for organizing this event to celebrate the 10th International Day of Non-Violence in memory of our beloved father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. As you are all aware, Mahatma Gandhi, who helped India lead to independence, has been an inspiration for non-violence movements for civil rights and social change across the world. Throughout his life, Mahatma Gandhi remained committed to his belief in non-violence, even under the most oppressive conditions and in the face of seemingly unsurmountable challenges. He believed that Indians must not use violence or hatred in the fight for freedom from colonialism. As Gandhiji said, I object to violence because when it appears to do good, the good is only temporary, the evil it does is permanent. On 15th June 2007, the United Nations General Assembly voted to establish 2nd October as the International Day of Non-Violence. The International Day is an occasion to disseminate the message of non-violence, including through education and public awareness. This resolution reaffirms the universal relevance of the principle of non-violence and the desire to secure a culture of peace, tolerance, understanding and non-violence. This year, the United Nations celebrated the International Day of Non-Violence on 2nd October 2017 under the theme Significance of Non-Violence in Today's World. We should endeavor to imbibe the values of Mahatma Gandhi in our daily life. I would also like to take this opportunity to give my sincere appreciation and thanks to Ms. Maureen Chen for sharing her spiritual wealth and wisdom. Ayoko Ishimaru and Ali Wong for presenting their performances today. I once again would like to thank all of you for coming for this event. I hope you will take something back in your daily lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Consul General of India to Hong Kong, Mr. Pranay Agrawal. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And non-violence is just the beginning. You actually found the perfect group of people, because we never mind about not talking about violence. We are talking about peace. It's actually just the beginning of real power. So we are going to empower you today with peace. As we all know, we really want to have some peace, but how? That is the thing. Maybe we are actually so happy already, to have food, shelter, and everything we want, and still there's still something which is still insufficient. And what is that? Well, there is a lady who actually I feel very honored to get to know her, because just to know that she actually brought Raja Yoga to Hong Kong back in the mid-70s, and she had been traveling in India to almost 60 different areas in 4 years. Is that right?
Something like that.
That's right, yeah. And she is a wonderful lady. All you need to do is just to look at her. She will give you peace. It's just like, it's just like that. So Without further ado, I would like to introduce this senior sister who make it all possible today. Ladies and gentlemen, Maureen Chan.
So I think you've all come because of this wonderful topic of non-violence, because really it's so important in the world today to really not just think it's a good idea, but actually to practice it. So first of all, thank you to all of you for coming here and to the Consul General for allowing us to use this beautiful space. So when sometimes we're asked to fill in a form, what is your religion? I used to put peace, but then I thought, oh, they probably think I'm a hippie. So I changed it to non-violence, because I think this is my religion. My religion is to really practice non-violence as much as I can, even in the sense I don't even like wearing shoes that make a noise because it hurts the earth. So, when we walk with anger, when we walk with ego, we hurt the atmosphere, the earth. So it's something that we can practice on an everyday basis. And in our centre in Sydney, we started 3 years ago, we started a non-violent communication practice group. So we actually have practice groups of talking to each other and learning how to express in non-violence. And I had been studying this and had a lot of interest for about 15 years before we started the practice group. But when I had someone listen to me, talk to someone, there was still a lot of correction that I could make to really bring empathy into the communication. And in his book, Marshall Rosenberg wrote a book called Nonviolent Communication, a language of compassion. And that's really the language of nonviolence. And many of us think of compassion as caring for others, of being kind of merciful. But the way I've understood compassion now, compassion is staying connected. And so a language of nonviolence is a language that we learn to speak that has as its goal consistently that we stay connected. And you see the wars and the conflict and the disconnect even in our own families, and how do we learn to communicate so that we stay connected? So the main key to this is empathy. And empathy means to be fully present, really fully present when I communicate. And Marshall said in his book, even though most people think that they are empathetic, very few are. And that's what I discovered, that even though I thought that I was quite empathetic, I realized there's a long way to go, because the way we've been brought up hasn't fostered this language, hasn't trained us in this language of compassion. And what also is key to this is that when people speak, we listen for their needs. When people are shouting, when people are abusive, when people are putting us down, rather than hear all of that aggression, what we can learn to listen to is the need. Try and see what is the need this person is trying to meet at this time. And you can see why this has become a problem, because we don't actually address needs very well. In fact, often we feel that having needs is weakness. We use this word, oh, he's really needy, and we put it down as a real weakness. But in fact, I think we can all discover that we all do actually have needs. And if we can communicate our needs, if we can listen to the needs of others, we can stay connected. And so this is what has really brought about my passion for this topic of non-violent communication, because if there's one thing that's needed in the world today, it's connection. We need to stay connected. And we know, all of us know, how easily that connection can be broken, can be, severed, at least for some time, but often forever. And one of the people who joined our non-violent communication practice groups, his daughter had not talked to him for 16 years, since she was 8 years old. There was a marriage breakup, a lot of negativity, I guess. And she hadn't spoken to him for 16 years. But by learning to communicate with her in writing only, in this empathetic way, she is now confiding in him with her problems, and she really has become very close to him. So this is the kind of thing I've seen when we really have that intention and we're prepared to put in the effort. Because often we want to have better relationships, but we don't go about strategically making it work. And it really does need strategy, because things don't just happen because we want them to happen. We really need to be quite clear about the steps I need to take to make these things happen. And even in the non-violent communication, in case some of you are completely new to it, there are 4 steps, and if you follow the steps, you'll find that you're able to communicate much better. And the first step is just to observe, and then to see what I'm feeling and what is my need. So the third step is my need, and the fourth step is to make a request. Right? So first is observation, second is feeling, third is identify the need, and fourth is to make a request. And often we say to someone, I hate it when you do that. But the person thinks, well, what do you want me to do? So we're not really going about our communication in the right way. So one thing is that whole area of non-violent communication. But today we're remembering Mahatma Gandhi, who really practiced what I have come to call soft power. So Harry was mentioning, I lived in India for 4 years and organized programs, myself in 50 countries, but it went on to do another 10, so 60 is accurate. But I went to 50 cities in 4 years organizing dialogues amongst leaders from all professions, leaders, men, women, and leaders who really were chosen. They weren't just an ordinary group of leaders. We handpicked these leaders to bring them together. So, my experience of meeting all these leaders in India was so amazing, really amazing. Like all the doctors I met, they worked half the day for a salary and half the day for free, serving people. I think the Indians in this room would not be surprised. But in any other country, I think it's just unimaginable that people would do that much. And so I really had a very enriching experience meeting these people. But what we brought them together to talk about is what we were calling soft power. Because in the world today, we have what we call hard power: guns, money, position, influence, all of this hard power. And Mahatma Gandhi was really such an amazing leader that demonstrated the power of soft power. To be able to achieve what he achieved through sacrifice, through tolerance, through self-discipline, with the fasting, with, people. I think how many have seen the movie Mahatma Gandhi? I think probably most people have. I think you'll remember that scene where he was such a leader that people were willing to follow him in the Salt March and be beaten one after another. You have to ask yourself, would I be willing to do that for truth? And that's, his book, An Experiment with Truth. And so, to be able to get independence for India without using guns, it's quite remarkable. But what we also saw is that India, the people of India, actually do have this soft power, and it's more natural, I believe, in a broad sense. Of course, we do see too much hard power there as well. That's there. If you really look at the culture and the bigger picture, India has really demonstrated soft power in many ways. Even now, what is the soft power of India? What has gone all over the world, made India famous? Bollywood. So music, dancing, food, this is all soft power. This connects people, brings people close. And so, we do have this example in front of us of how soft power is actually very effective. Another aspect of violence, all of us, I think, were brought up and we try our best not to give sorrow. We really do try not to hurt other people. But at least for me, when I came across the Brahma Kumaris, I heard for the first time the whole idea of not taking sorrow. Have you heard about that before? It's not just not giving sorrow, but also not taking sorrow. And actually we have a choice. If somebody offers me a rotten apple, I have a choice. Well, maybe out of politeness I might take it, but I definitely wouldn't eat it. So in the same way, if people are abusive, if they're dumping on me, I don't have to consume that. Because what happens when we take sorrow, where is it going to go? What's going to happen to it? It's going to come out. So if we take sorrow, we are going to give sorrow. Because it's gone in, it's going to come out. And so that's another aspect of non-violence that we really need to think about. Not just not giving sorrow, but not taking sorrow. It's a mistake to take sorrow. And then just one other thing is the whole thing of peace. Do you think Mahatma Gandhi was successful because of peace? To some extent, in the sense that he wasn't violent. But what his great strength was his creativity. He was so strategic and so creative in the way he set about achieving his goal. So it has been said that the opposite to war is not peace. If someone's invading my country and I just sit peaceful, or if somebody's abusing me and I just take it, then that's not really going to work. So the opposite of war is creativity. So that's another particular aspect that we could all pay attention to, that we really get what they call those creative juices activated. So we really live in a creative way, because if we're not living in a creative way, then we are living in survival. And survival, you have no space, you don't even have the brain cells, and you don't have the energy to be creative. And the main cause of this state of survival, which I need to mention because this is Hong Kong, is stress. When we are in a state of stress, we go into survival. We are not creative. So we all can also pay attention to the stress levels we allow in our life. Because a lot of it is choice. Some of it may not be, but if you're creative, then you'll find ways to maneuver around the stress that's even expected of you. Like I had a job in Hong Kong when I first came, and they asked me, you know, like in Hong Kong, everyone works till 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And I told them before I started, I said, no, I'm not going, if I work here, I will leave at 5 o'clock every day. And it was like, and I used to feel it was really hard not to feel guilty walking out the door at 5 o'clock. But I knew that I did a good job when I was there, and I'm okay, I can get along with people. So I just had that faith in myself that they won't give me the sack because I'm doing this, because I've made it so clear. I stated my needs before I started, and I just lived with that confidence. It helped that I needed to get back to the centre to take classes, so it helped. But people also have to get home to children and all of those things. So we really can take charge of our life if we can get out of this survival state and into creativity. So I think there's a lot more that we're going to have presented to you this evening, so I will close there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sister Maureen. I remember there is apparently a true story about Gandhi when he was studying law, and he went into the canteen, and there was a professor, a white professor, whose name was Peter, who actually really disliked him. And but Gandhi was sitting right next to Professor Peter. Hi, Gandhi. I didn't see you. Okay. And then this professor said, "I'm sorry, I don't think pig and birds would sit next to each other." Then Gandhi said, "It's okay, I'll fly away." I don't know if it was true, but Gandhi has a great sense of humor. Today, I'm going to put this here now, because this is my little moment of magic. If I don't get a chance to do it, I will not. So I'm going to do it now. I was greatly inspired by how to communicate non-violently, even without words. So I'm going to do a new magic trick, okay? And when I say new, it's really brand new. It's all about communicating. And I don't understand why people actually now are worshipping YouTube and Facebook now. YouTube and Facebook are becoming the new God now. Do you realize that? Yeah? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something that you cannot do on Facebook or YouTube, but you will go, wow, amazing, okay? So this is it, all right? I would totally urge you to do this, okay? If it worked tonight, I might do it on my TV show as well, okay? So all you need is a handkerchief, okay? Very simple, okay? And then you just put your hand in there, just like that, okay? And then this lady here, okay? Give me a number. 1, okay, great. 1, okay? She didn't actually say anything. That's just a warm-up, okay? All right. I want someone who actually can really communicate with me. Who thinks that they can communicate non-verbally and non-violently with peace, apart from my son? Anyone at all? How about this lady here? We have not met before today, and we didn't talk anything about this trick, did we? Okay, so between 1 and 5, think of a number. Okay, now just to make it slightly harder, change the number now. I don't even know what you were thinking, but I want you to change the number. Okay, what number are you thinking? Tell us.
The change one or the first?
It's up to you, because I would not know.
2.
Are you sure? Okay, this is going to blow your mind. Okay, watch. 1, 2, 2. All right, well, I can do better than that. Now, that's a little bit more interesting, okay? I have a folded playing card in my hand, okay? And you said 2, but there can be many 2s when it comes to playing cards. It can be a heart, a diamond, a spade, or a club, okay? So pick one.
Can I tell you?
Yes, because I can't go anywhere. There is only one, huh?
2 apart.
Listen, hearts, diamond, spade, or clubs.
Spade.
No. Don't do that just because of me. Go with what you were thinking of. You're sure? Well, Usually it doesn't work. Well, I don't know because it's the first time I do it. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed it is the two of us. It's nonviolent communication.
Wow.
For me anyways, Does it work? Can I do it on TV show?
Yeah.
No, I can't because for children, I can't do cuts. But anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe I can change it and now from a little magic trick to something which is really wondering. This lady that you heard earlier on tonight with her violin, she actually went to a very special place earlier on this year, to a beautiful place in New Delhi, which we call ORC, which is a retreat center. She was greatly inspired. She went with her whole family for the whole week. I knew that because I am her husband. And every night after dinner, which was rather early, she would completely disappear, and she went into an absolutely beautiful place, which is this place, which is a beautiful pyramid place where we would love to go in there and do meditation. Well, I must say, this meditation has brought a lot of joy, lightness, and happiness to our whole family. But little that I knew that would inspire Ayako so much to become a composer. And the following piece that she is going to play for you, she deliberately put in a little taste of Indian music at the beginning, and it's called Diamond Age. Why is it Diamond Age? Half of us might know, half of us may be wondering. Maybe you can get the answer just from the notes. So this is Diamond Age.
world, there are a lot of darkness, uncertainty. But I wish to be like a diamond, strong as a diamond and sparkling as a diamond. And let's say, maybe I can give you some example. Do you know the board game called Vivasi? Black and white. And black side, maybe let's say we represent negativity, white side, positivity. Maybe we can say we are white originally. But when the surrounding of us becomes little by little black, turning black, white to be black, what can we do? Will you turn black as well? Or can you stay white? I used to be black. When something happened to me, automatically black. When I didn't do well in the test, black. If I fight with my mom, black. But through meditation and Raja Yoga teaching, I learned we have power to choose to be white. And there is method. It's not difficult. We just have to believe that we are white. If we stay in white, even though surrounding is all black, there is chance that we can turn them in white. So this is my wish, that I can stay white, sparkly as a diamond, and give light to others. So this was Diamond Age. And next piece, actually this is the last piece of this evening, is called Going Home. Home, you may think of your home, your family, your home country. I wrote this piece imagining that the home of my soul world, where I came from. Where it is, I don't know. I don't have a memory, but I know I came from somewhere. My soul came from somewhere. And we are actually, my husband and myself, we experienced the death of very close family member, my father-in-law. And when we go through the process of the last moment of his life, we learn so much, because we realize when we live this life, we can't bring anything with us, materialistic. We can't bring our beloved wife or husband, son, our home, money, status, job. We can't bring it. We have to go back as we are. But what we can bring is what we did in this life. Imagine that if we have individual finger, this is us, right? And if this person needs help, do you help? We don't know each other. Will you help? You will? You're a good man. If you see only the tip, we don't see the connection. But when we know that we are all connected, we came from the same place, and we are all going back to the same place. Actually, we are one. So if we help this person, actually we are helping others, but actually we are helping ourselves as well. So if we attack this person, with violence, verbal violence, physical violence, whatever, we are also hurting ourselves because we are connected in big picture. So today we are celebrating Non-Violence Day. Please, let's remember that if you are doing good, we're doing good to ourselves, we're benefiting to ourselves. If we are hurting someone, you are actually hurting ourselves. So let's be good and be nice to each other, share and love. Then when we leave this body, I think we can have less regret and maybe go with peace. So this going home, I wish I can live this life peacefully with contentment and satisfaction. So I hope you enjoy. And end of this piece, let's enjoy this half minutes of silence. Please, I don't need any applause. Let's keep silence and let's experience the sweet home. Thank you.
a being of light. And I let grace flow through me, through that light. The world can be dark, but I let my light shine and radiate to remove that darkness. I am a being of light. Radiant being of light. All I am. Shanti. Peace.
Sorry. Would you like to make an announcement? Yeah. How was it? You good? Can you feel the wonders?
Yes.
It's only 1 hour. I need this. It's only 1 hour. We have the magic. We have beyond magic. Thank you very much for the talk. Thank you very much for the music. Most importantly, thank you very much for coming here. Not with just your body, but with your soul as well. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much. This is a beautiful room. Yeah, but now the room actually has even more wonderful vibrations as well. So if you want this kind of vibrations, keep asking us to come back.
So I'm yours.
Thank you. Yeah, there shall be refreshment serving at the back, and I'm sure Sister Maureen is still going to be here, yeah, to talk to you. And also, all our brothers and sisters from Kowloon side, can you please wave your hands? Great, I'm so glad. Usually it consists of half of the crowd, but it doesn't. It's good, yeah. And how about Hong Kong side? Wonderful. Yeah, so do come and talk to us. We actually, if you want to know more about Raja Yoga, it has absolutely changed my whole family. Ayako, isn't it great to have a wife like that? She's not just a wife, she's a sister. She's not just a sister, she's a brother as well. There is all kinds of relationship. Of course, she's still the boss, I mean. But a good one, a very good one. And in between us, we have actually the supreme love, and I could feel it today. I'm sure a lot of us can. I would just like to say a very big thanks, because there shall be refreshment, and a big thanks to Alok Jain and Priyanka Jain of Teacup Productions providing refreshments. So thank you very much. Yes. And I was also told that there is going to be goodies, right? So maybe Sister Rohini, you would like to tell us what let's not worry about that, yeah?
Good evening.
thank you for joining us this evening. And we have a special sweets for all of you. The sweet is really made in silence, in the atmosphere of peace, and also thereby atmosphere of non-violence. So, and we also have a special blessings. The blessings have come all the way from Australia, Perth. So take the blessing, which is a very nice positive words. So take one and enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's just the beginning of the weekend, so let's party.